Ever wondered how much money can be made from scrapping cars? No? Well, you're going to find out anyway, as two teams of dedicated dismantlers attempt to earn megabucks from piles of rust.
180, 45 quid, 60 quid.
It's all up on offer.
In the ultimate car stripping challenge, automotive gems are unearthed.
This is one I thought you guys would like the most.
Cash gets splashed.
Well, what's the lowest you go down to?
No, what's the highest you'll come up to?
And the memories come flooding back.
I just see visions of her trying to scratch at the door with her 3 legs.
Today's challenge sees our two teams of cash-hungry strippers dismantling vehicles inspired by sun, sea, and most of all, surf. These weekend warriors are not necessarily loved for their performance, but for the lifestyle they represent, and at times facilitate. This is no holiday for the teams, though. Working with a budget of only £1,000, they have just 3 days to strip their cars at this license breaker's yard before selling the parts to the highest bidder. The team to turn the biggest profit will be the winners. Vying for the top spot in this automotive tear-up are two teams of dedicated dismantlers. Keen to get their towels on the sun lounger are George and Sheldon. George Percy is the man enjoying his mechanical moment in the sun.
People think that it's just about the engine and gearbox, but there's so much more. You can sell the seats, the dash, the list is endless.
Avoiding socks and sandals at all costs is dapper dealmaker Sheldon Nichols.
I'm charming, flamboyant, adaptable. Do you want me to go on?
Looking to kick sand in their faces are Ben and Frankie. Ben Szymanski provides the high-factor technical know-how.
Selling, it's child's play. Getting the parts off in pristine condition is the hard part.
Frankie Otway may not look like a surfer, but when it comes to flogging parts, he's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, as the old man used to say, don't be funny, take the money.
The team's first job is to choose a breakable vacation vehicle for under £1,000. Ben and Frankie don't appear to be in the holiday mood, though.
All right, Ben, I'm going to give it straight from the shoulder. Campers. What do you feel about that?
In reality, what we're talking about?
A VW?
No! I know there's a big scene around it, but they fetch premium prices.
You are right, they are big money. We're going to hit the budget side.
I'm not convinced.
Think about the positives. Curtains, carpets, cookers, sinks. You can go out there and you can go and make a few quid on some of these items.
This ain't changing rooms, this is a car show, Frankie.
We've got £1,000. We're going to go out and do a deal. And you're coming along and you're going to witness how difficult it is out there. But I'll guarantee you this, when we finish tomorrow, you're going to have a 42-piece carat gold of a VW camper.
When VW boss Heinz Nordhoff greenlit plans for an adaptable rear-engine air-cooled van, he could never have imagined that he would launch one of motoring's true icons. 3 generations of the air-cooled transporter were produced in the 4 decades after launch in 1949. With the bay-windowed T2 being perhaps the most recognisable of all. Although it was designed as a utility vehicle, it is the transporters kitted out as camper vans that have become the true icons. An army of enthusiasts are always on the lookout for spares, but even the roughest early model transporters now command premium prices. So Ben and Frankie might need to think about slightly later models.
Listen, I'm finding out about the VW camper. What, you're living in it? What, with the dogs? It's got a dog.
This is what it's all about, this VW lifestyle.
I've just seen you out in a paper. What sort of dough are we talking about here? How much? What's that, pesetas or drachma? How many you got? Thousands? Lovely.
Despite Ben's lack of enthusiasm, Frankie has dragged him along to a veritable Aladdin's cave, containing Volkswagens in various states of repair. The genie in this rather cramped bottle is owner Jim.
When people need scarce parts, this is where they come.
Anything down the back we can have a look at?
Yeah, I've got a couple of beauties down the back. Follow me. Here we are. This is the first one, gentlemen. It's a 72 bay, tax exempt.
Yeah. How much is this one?
£2.5 grand.
£7.5 grand?
Yeah. Onwards, yeah, that's right then, please.
With even the roughest bay-fronted classics beyond their pockets, Jim hopes he can entice the boys with a far more modern T25.
Plenty of room down here, though, Jim, in here?
Yeah. This is one I thought you guys would like the most.
You can't be serious about selling this, Jim, surely?
There you go.
Ooh. What is it, a squat, Jim?
No, some lovely dry parts.
What about the engine? What about the engine, Jim?
Engine's not in it at the moment.
Well, my job here is to sort of assess the mechanicals, in particular the engine. And how can I do that when there's no engine in the motor?
This is slightly embarrassing to me because I brought the man down here. This is the expert, you know what I mean? It's embarrassing, Jim.
Ben can see the value of that, I'm sure.
Will Sheldon and George identify a more affordable weekend wagon?
You all right there, fella?
It appears that the golden rule is avoid VWs.
I'm thinking something fun.
Yeah?
I don't know, something like dune buggy.
A VW Beetle. It's got to be one of them.
I'm liking that. They're a massive scene at the moment with all that Californian look and West
Classic
Coast
dune
look.
buggy, aren't they?
Yeah, loads of bits on those.
For a car associated with hippies and surfers, the cool VW Beetle had distinctly unchilled origins. The Beetle was born from Adolf Hitler's desire to provide low-cost motoring for the masses. Designed by Ferdinand Porsche, the first Beetle was manufactured in 1938, and by the time the last one rolled off the production line in 2003, over 21.5 million had been sold, making the Beetle the longest running and one of the biggest selling cars of all time. It's still loved by a legion of fun seekers around the world, and with so many fanatics keen to keep their Beetles in top nick, there's a massive spares market, but even the roughest scrappers can cost a bomb.
Yeah, I'm ringing about the Beetle. It's gone. All right, thanks very much. You seen anything yet?
Nothing in here, mate.
I knew this weren't going to be easy. These things are going for stupid money. You see the state of some of them. You seen anything in there yet?
Nah, nothing.
I'm ringing about the Beetle. Can you tell me a little bit more about her? Is she still running? I am very interested in it. Lovely. Thanks very much. Bye.
After countless knockbacks, Sheldon thinks he's finally located a likely sounding Beetle.
Are you having a laugh?
Flipping it.
Ain't no chicken on that bone, mate.
It's not happening, is it?
I'm not having it.
Ben and Frankie might also be regretting their decision to buy a VW. With time short, their search for a camper for under £1,000 has turned up a single T25 with lived-in chic.
This thing he showed me, I'll tell you what, it looked like a squat. I mean, the only thing that was short of it was a paraffin lamp, you know what I mean? I can't get my head round it. But now I'm in now, up to my eyeballs. We've got to go for it. How much we talking about here, Jim? You know, give me the bottom line here.
I would say it's worth £1,200.
I'll give you 400 quid for it.
Absolutely not. An engine that costs you more than £400.
Yeah, but I can't even say that. Where is it?
I'll supply an engine for it as well.
Oh, you will?
Yeah. You need to improve your offer. The bottom line is £950.
Jim, look, I'm not going to mess about. 900 quid. That's your lot. 900 quid, Jim. Come on.
Can't do it.
Come on, Jim. You can do it. Look at his little face. Look, Jim. Look how upset he is. Look.
He doesn't like Volkswagen.
No, but it's nothing to do with that, Jim. This is all about trying to make a few quid here. You've got to give me a chance, Jim, please.
Okay, 950 is an absolute bargain.
Hold up. Let me have it. Hold up, Jim. 9,500 quid. Jim, count yourself a very lucky man, because you have had it off.
Thank you. Well, pleasure to do business.
I won't shake your hand, Jim, because I'm devastated.
Thank you.
What a liberty. Can't believe it. I can't believe what I've just done.
That's one skip, VW T25 with detachable engine purchased for £950.
Frankie, I never, ever want to come on a deal with you again.
See? Now you know what I've got to put up with.
At least somebody's had a good day. Having failed to find a privately owned Beetle, George and Sheldon are in search of an Aladdin's cave of aging V-dubs. You guessed it.
What are they up to?
Yeah, the Chuckle Brothers, innit? What are they doing here?
Scared of me?
What happens as we're pulling in? We see Ben and Frankie driving out.
I mean, after looking around, we can't find any beetles. And this is the only place that we found.
Now, I don't know what they've bought, I don't know what sort of deal they've had, but I'll be determined to make sure that I get a better deal and a better motor than whatever they've got. My name's Sheldon.
Oh, Sheldon.
We're looking for
VW Beetle.
A Beetle,
okay.
yeah.
This one's mid-70s. It's made to look at like an early 60s.
How much is it?
£3,500.
George, for a minute I thought you said £3,500.
We ain't touching
That's
this,
cheap.
mate.
That's cheap.
We've got a budget of under £1,000. Help us out.
The only one I've got is the one on the front.
What's that run like?
There's no engine in it, gents, but I can supply you an engine. Do you want to have a look?
I hope that he's not thinking what I think he's thinking.
Come on, mate.
I don't like this.
I'm not really bothered with you
What
like
have
it
you
or
got
not,
with
mate.
me going up here?
Am I really dressed to be crawling around?
Just take your time.
Because you know what you're looking for.
Looks like a big green toad. Look at it.
I just need to know, is it worth the money that this fella's asking for it?
I don't know what you want me to say. It's a Beetle on top of a cabin with no engine in it.
Now, we've both come out with the same intention to find ourselves a car today, and sometimes I can't help but feel that he's working a little bit against me.
I mean, how am I meant to give a good assessment of a vehicle where the engine's on a pallet and the motor's on top of a container?
It's all there.
I really don't know what's going through Sheldon's mind right now. He must be so desperate to get a Beetle.
Jim, I've never bought a car before in these sort of circumstances. I've got cold hard cash, looking to do a deal today.
I'd really be looking at about £750 for that.
I'll tell you where I am. I'm around about the 354 mark.
No, we'd have to meet nearer the middle. The best I'll do for you is £550.
As long as you can throw me in some nice bits and pieces, okay?
Yeah. Job done.
Lovely. Thanks very much.
One high-rise VW Beetle separated from its engine and employed as a down-market billboard snapped up for £550. Happy Christmas, Jim. With leisure the theme, our two teams of vehicle dismantlers have been set the task of buying and breaking a weekend warrior.
This is one I thought you guys would like the most.
What have you got with me going up here?
With both teams having bought vehicles from the same VW specialist, job number one is to liberate them from the crowded yard. First up, it's Sheldon and George's Beetle. And Sheldon has appointed himself logistics manager.
On things like this, you're either a leader or a follower, and I follow no one.
Sheldon's put himself in charge, arranged the forklift, gone and got everyone these high-vis jackets. He didn't give me a walkie-talkie.
Make sure that there's no traffic and stop any traffic that's coming.
What traffic? You on about? There's nothing here.
Health and safety has got to be paramount.
Can you imagine what he'd be like if he was a police officer?
I had to lead and I led from the front.
With the Beetle on its way to base, Frankie takes a slightly more hands-off approach to the retrieval of the VW T25 camper.
Jim's got it all under control, yeah, I'm just watching it, it's going swimmingly, yeah, that's it, that's it.
With two leisure mobiles back at base, slightly later than normal, our teams will have just 3 days to break their donor vehicles before selling the parts for maximum profit. Anything left unsold will be weighed in for scrap and crushed. Before the breaking begins, there's just time for our teams to check out each other's donor vehicles.
I'll tell you what, hold up, Percy and Shirley's here, look.
What have you bought there? Where are you going, Devon?
Leave off, George, it looks like a bogey.
Not another VW.
Bit of moss growing on the other side, innit? If I didn't notice rightly. You ain't done a deal with Alan Titchmarsh, have you?
Lads, I know he's stupid, but you two, come on.
It's solid. The floor's a bit rotten, but you know what? The doors.
Couple of aliens come down to interfere with you, or what?
We're doing recycling, mate. That's what we're doing. It's environmentally friendly, that is.
Environmental health hazard, more like. Got to tell you.
Well, hang on. Have you got something decent under there?
Yeah, mate.
Frankie, can you... I can't touch VWs, I'm allergic.
Hold up.
Oh, Sheldon, that is a beautiful motor.
Where's the lump, George?
It's in the workshop. It's a lovely little runner, that is. Don't you worry about that, mate.
George,
Runner.
George, get your engine and throw it straight in a skip.
Close followed by your motor then, yeah?
Yes, please.
Proof's in the pudding.
What have you bought, though, lads?
You guys been making so much money, this is your holiday vehicle, is it?
Well, you laugh. We're going to do a deal with Greenpeace on the strength of this.
Oh, don't come a knocking if the campers are rocking.
Fridges, cookers, carpets, look. Wardrobes, curtains, look, have a look, George.
Look at that. Look. Oh, don't I look pretty?
Look, I'll tell you what, George, look. Bit of soup in there if you want it, look. I know it's two-tone, George, you know what I mean, but it's a goer.
You just ain't telling it to me.
I thought mine was bad, but I am kind of like lost for words.
Built-in bumpers, look.
I'll tell you what, you're right. Ours is absolutely terrible. And yours is very slightly worse.
I think I actually agree with you.
Thank you very much.
Look, I mean, if you was a rabbit and you got caught in these headlamps, you would stand still and throw your hands up, wouldn't you?
Yeah, in laughter, mate.
Oh, I'll tell you what, you ain't seeing it, you ain't feeling it.
No, you're right.
I'm lost for words,
I'll
mate.
tell you what, we'll have it away. We're going to have a pint, go and get blinding drunk, come back next week and see who comes
And
back.
it'll still look as bad, won't it?
Frankie, I am overwhelmed with emotion here, and they're all negative.
I don't know who's better and who's worse.
George and Sheldon paid £550 for this classic Beetle. Herbie might have ridden again, but for any number of reasons that include the engine not being in it, this V-dub certainly won't. But believe it or not, even as ropey an example as this could still yield enough parts to attract the bug-loving brigade. Ben and Frankie also took the separate engine option and paid 950 quid for this VW T25 camper. At best, it could be described as a shed, but it's surprising what camper enthusiasts will pay good money for. The boys are pinning their hopes on selling the standalone engine, gearbox, and roof. But their biggest earner could be the internal fixtures and fittings. It's day one of dismantling. And as Ben and Frankie take their camper up on the ramp, the horror of what may lie beneath appears to be weighing heavily on their minds.
Oh, look at that, man, look.
Well, Frankie, I hate to say it, but it is remarkably solid, isn't it? Reasonably corrosion-free. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, we've got the gearbox here, we've got the engine on the floor. These wishbones, solid, they'll sell.
There's hardly any sort of rust on it at all, is there? I am a little bit surprised how good it is,
Yeah.
I really like it.
Well, beneath that terrible, shabby exterior, it was absolutely fine. Good springs, good chassis. It's still the nastiest thing I've ever seen, but there's money to be made, you know, it's solid.
Perhaps the camper will prove to be a better investment than it once appeared. Across the yard, Sheldon and George are getting to grips with the realities of making money from a Beetle that spent the previous decade on a shipping container.
Oh, my goodness.
What have we done? I don't know whether to burn it, scrap it, laugh at it.
It's like a packet of Rice Krispies.
I would love to blame someone for this, but I think we're both as responsible as each other.
Oh, right.
So, you know what, let's not even go down that route.
Ben and Frankie were pleasantly surprised with the underside of their camper. Perhaps an inspection of the Beetle will raise spirits.
It's falling apart. And we haven't even started taking it apart. No, I don't even want to stand underneath it, mate.
How did the battery get there?
It's fallen right through the floor. Look at it.
Flipping egg.
That seat's nearly taken itself out.
Oh, good God, what have we got on board, mate?
It's a Flintstone car. We can weigh the rust in. Sweep it up.
Morale might be at an all-time low, but there could still be profit in the rotten hippie runaround. The engine thrown into the deal should sell, as will the gearbox and any salvageable body panels. That's all fine in theory, but there's nothing worse for a salesman than being unable to satisfy demand.
When we bought this car, I immediately posted it on the internet that we were breaking it. Thing is, people are ringing for parts that this car just hasn't got. I just hope that that engine is going to come together, because that's my hope and glory, really.
That engine was delivered separately to the terminally ill Beetle, and the chaps have no idea if it's a runner.
What are we going to do about that?
You're going to get that running, mate. That's where our money's at.
Oh, I am I?
Yeah, mate, I've got faith in you.
What's all this lot here? What are you going to do about that?
Oh, don't worry about those. I've got a plan for those.
Oh, dear.
George is working away on the engine at the moment. I just keep my fingers crossed that we're going to have some sort of success with it, because I've told people that the engine's all right.
One of the first things you've got to do is check the spark plugs. Make sure they're not all corroded up, because, I mean, we don't know how long that engine's been sitting out. And a good spark means a good running engine. The next thing to connect up is the starter motor and the coil. The coil supplies the spark for the spark plugs, and without the starter motor it won't turn over. There's two batteries there, and the main purpose of that is it's kind of like a backup power. I'm going to use the biggest battery to turn the starter motor, because that's the most current drain, and the second battery powers up the electrics on the engine. I had to pour some petrol into the carb, so when you turn it over you've got a bit of life to get it going. And then I had to put the petrol pipe into the can. It's kind of like a smaller version of the tank on your car. You've got to get that fuel through the mechanical pump into that carb, and once it's going down into the pistons it'll fire.
Sweet-running V-dub engines are highly prized, and with one purring away on the garage floor, George and Sheldon have cause for optimism.
A little gem, isn't it? Excellent.
In Ben and Frankie's garage, the T25 camper is stirring some memories.
Did I tell you I had one of these, Ben?
No, I don't think you mentioned it, mate.
I had a little holiday away down at Laysdown in one, you know, years ago. The whole family went down here. And me dog, little Lulu.
Little Lulu?
Little Yorkie Terrier, little toy.
Right.
She only had 3 legs.
Really, Frankie? I tell you what, my absolute worst nightmare would be holiday camping with Frankie.
What happened was, about 3:30 in the morning, I could hear sort of little weeping at the door, because she couldn't jump up at the door because she'd keep falling over because she only had 3 legs.
Right.
Anyway, I just about got her out, and I could hear in the distance there's like a couple of juggernauts going by. So Lulu, lover, the last I heard was a squeak, and she took her last breath. The minute I opened the door of that camper, it just flooded back to me, and I just see visions of her trying to scratch at the door with her 3 legs.
What had happened, Frankie?
Oh.
What?
A 16-wheeler just took her out. Shocking.
Sounds like a terrible holiday in a lay-by, really.
They say that keeping busy is the best way to deal with grief. Perhaps some stripping will ease Frankie's pain.
You having a bit of a struggle?
Riddled with screws, riddled. I could have done with a few more screws in here, really.
For once, neither Ben nor Frankie need worry about getting oily. They've set their sights on liberating the interior fixtures and fittings.
Ben?
What?
Just stand with us, will you, for this kitchen unit?
Are you working up a bit of a sweat?
That's it, son.
All right.
Frankie's family holidays in a camper might be in the past, but with a punter en route to site, he's hoping to make a few quid by providing home comforts for the next generation of beach bums.
My name's Lee Dagger, and I've been into the VW scene since I left school. And yeah, I take my kids away surfing, my wife with me obviously, and we have fun, yeah, travelling around. Yeah, I've got another camper van that hasn't got an interior, so I'm going to make this grey interior fit
Let's hope they haven't got a dog.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Lee. I'm not going to mess about with you. £550.
Ah, 475, I reckon.
475. Lee. No! That was in the Ideal Home exhibition for 4 years. They're on display. You can see the condition it's in. It's immaculate. 490 quid.
480.
490 quid, Lee. You've got a deal. And you can ride away now. Take that, but make sure that goes to a good home. No, I mean it, Lee, because I'm very, very attached to that, as you know. Look after it, Lee.
Yeah.
I'm not joking, son. Right?
Yeah.
Now, you have got some money wrapped around you, haven't you?
All right.
What you got it in? 50s, 20s? What you got?
Well, let's have a look.
£490 for a selection of second-hand MDF. What a deal. It's first blood to Frankie and Ben.
What do you reckon, Frankie, then? Good day?
Yeah, I think the deal went well. He's a nice, fine character. We struck the deal. I thought I might have got it a bit cheaper, but I managed to find one, so I can make it work.
It's day 2 of 3, as our strippers attempt to generate maximum profits from breaking vehicles inspired by sun, sea and surf.
It's fallen right through the floor.
Ben and Frankie paid £950 for a clapped-out camper and have already sold the interior for a very respectable 490 quid. Sheldon and George forked out £550 for a has-been Beetle, and so far have had unimpressive sales figures, unless of course you're impressed by absolutely nothing. To the naked eye, the Beetle looks like a disaster area, and to a large extent it is. But when a car has such a fanatical following, there's almost always a demand for something.
The state of this tyre.
No doubt you'll be able to maybe refurbish it, George.
I'll make it into a rubber dinghy.
In this case, that something is the chrome trim, and the man looking for VW bling is Alex.
I'm looking for parts for my VW Beetle. Obviously, as you can imagine, as they're getting older, parts are getting harder to find, so it's always nice to find somewhere I'm able to get those.
All right, Alex, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not too bad.
Those were the bits we discussed, weren't they?
Yeah, think
window
so.
winder, regulator. You got your four-wheel trims there.
Yeah.
You got your
rocker cover,
and you got your breather pipe.
Brilliant
all right.
stuff. Cool. Okay, mate.
65 quid, mate.
65 quid?
Yeah.
That's a bit too much, mate. I was thinking more like sort of 20, 25 quid.
How long have you been looking for these bits?
Well, a little while, but...
Exactly.
65 quid,
You can't
mate.
find them. Rarity value. Come on, Alex.
I'll give you 30 quid for
No,
them.
you won't give me 30 quid for them.
Mate, what's the lowest you go down to?
No, what's the highest you'll come up to?
I've got 40 quid in my pocket.
Why? Well, what?
That's the best I can do, mate.
You know what, you're lucky my oldest brother's called Alex, because otherwise I wouldn't be doing the deal. Go on, 40 quid. Is it pound notes? You ain't going to give me a cheque, are you?
Nah, I'll give you the cash.
It's all real, isn't it? All right, Alex. Nice one, mate.
Oh, mate.
Cheers, mate.
Not a fortune, but 40 quid is better than nothing.
I didn't really want to spend too much more than sort of 25 quid, but 40 quid for my car, it's worth it, so it's not too bad.
Across the yard, Ben and Frankie are turning their attention to the optional extras that came with their T25 camper, namely the engine.
Come here.
Revel in the magnificence.
Do you reckon you can get it going then, Ben?
Nah, Frank, this is water cooled. You need all the radiator, all the electrics. It's far too much work. We've got lots to do with this, mate. Let's get it up on the ramp. Well, the old engine that sort of got delivered separately to this big bus, there's too much work to do to get it running, really. It's water cooled. There's no coil there. I've no idea if that carb works or how it works. It's probably okay, but we'll just flog it. It's fine. Solder C.
But if Frankie gets his way, it'll be sold unseen.
I'll tell you what, mate, it's a goer. I mean, it's a proper globetrot. It's a VW engine. You don't get no better than that, do you? You know, Volks, VW, Volks, wagon. You know what that means? It's a people's car. That's right. Volkswagen, that's right.
The steamroller approach pays dividends again, as the phone buyer agrees to pay £225 for the camper power plant. If further proof were needed that the VW community are mad for parts, Frankie's braking ads have attracted a customer who's interested in the high-top roof.
lift up and then push it back and I'll cop hold of it, right?
Right, are you ready?
What's more, they're prepared to trust Frankie with its removal.
Hold it there, Ben, hold it there. Every man's his own safety, officer. No, keep going, son, keep paddling away. Oh.
It's pretty amazing that anyone would actually want the 26-year-old moss-covered fiberglass roof.
Oh, you wouldn't want to do two of them in a day, would you? No, mate. I've come over all queer.
What's truly staggering is that they'll pay £250 for it. What's wrong with these people? George and Sheldon would love to emulate Frankie's rate of sale. Having flogged some chrome trim, they're now faced with the true horror of their decaying Beetle.
This is a little bit rotten. You put your hand through there. Oh. That Beetle, I mean, I think it's a bit of a pile of rust, you know. What have we done?
It's like these bolts and they're rinding. It's like they're about 3 foot long.
If something's not falling off or red rusty, then it's just seed solid. Thought you had that?
Yeah, so did I.
It's becoming pretty clear that the chaps can forget any kind of return on the manky body panels. That heaps extra pressure on Sheldon to flog the Beetle engine.
Yeah, I'll save them for you.
And he appears to have got a result. And then some. There's a punter interested in the Beetle's engine, gearbox and rear suspension. So it's full speed ahead to get the box and suspension out before the customer arrives. The engine, suspension and box might have come from a distinctly unglamorous home, but it looks as though they might live again in something considerably sexier. Thanks to Stuart.
I've come down today to look at an old VW Beetle engine, gearbox, rear suspension unit for the use in one of our beach buggies. Our beach buggies are GRP fiberglass, bodies that fit directly onto the old classic Volkswagen Beetle floor pan. With a variety of customers, young lads wanting an adrenaline rush and older chaps wanting to relive their childhood.
I can guarantee you that engine, I've heard it running, I need about 650 quid.
No, I can't see that. 400.
Sorry?
400.
650, I think that's very reasonable.
I think you need to come down a bit.
Well, I think you need to come up a bit.
I'm thinking more like 5.
Call it 550 and you've got yourself a deal.
I think so.
Yeah? Happy with that? All right.
No problem.
Let's see the colour of your money. Lovely. Thanks again, mate.
No problem, Joe.
Great stuff.
Useful parts for Stuart, and a game-changing £550 for Sheldon. Against all the odds, the putrefying Beetle is now in profit. It's the final day of dismantling. Frankie has had a call about his gearbox, and breaking with tradition, he's experimenting with an honest sales pitch.
Yeah, I mean, look, you know, I don't want to say this to you, but I do think that gearbox has come from a good home, but I mean, it's a lottery, isn't it? Well, look, I'm thinking about sort of 75 quid. How do you feel about that?
And it seems to have worked.
I'm here to buy the old T25 VW camper gearbox.
But when the buyer, Yusuf, arrives, Frankie appears to be back to his old self.
Yusuf, here, thanks for coming down, love it, right? Have a little look at it, have a pipe, see if you're happy, because if you ain't, it's too late because we've done the deal, as you know, right?
As long as the inside's all right, mate, it's the main thing.
We don't do mates in business, all right, just get it right. All right, let's have it right. You've been down the hole in the wall, what?
Yeah, there's 80 quid, sir.
80 quid?
Yeah.
I ain't got no 5, that's right.
Oh, really?
So look, put it down a bit, a bit of lunch. You know what I mean? I'll do a £5 a day on lunch.
Not going to give me a lift with it?
No, I've got a mush out the back.
Yeah.
He normally helps me, but he's got a day off.
Right.
No, he's in the Olympics, in the swimming squad and all that.
Yeah.
So look, got a motor with you?
I have, yeah.
Lovely. That's it, take it away.
Cheers. It's a little bit expensive, but I'm happy with it. So it's a pretty rare box, to be honest, so yeah, it's all good.
Buoyed by that £80 deal, Frankie decides that he can handle the next inquiry on his own.
There's not many that would be capable of doing this. I am.
A punter has offered £60 for a rear quarter panel, and the big man is confident of having it off in a jiffy.
So of course the first oversight Frankie had was that he needed to take the rear door off to cut this panel out. So I got roped into that, of course.
Oh, it's coming on bundles now, isn't it, eh? Right.
And we might as well take off the side door while we're at it, so there we go.
Yes, I like it, I like it.
The fella wants a particular piece of this panel, and Frankie somehow manages to cut through exactly that bit.
Oh dear.
Rendering the panel completely useless. The tension starts to build, the red mist comes down, and Frankie disperses this anger in the only way he knows how.
Grinders? Yeah, that's right.
And so the upshot of all this is it's £60 gone, and if we lose by this amount, you know, there we go. Whose fault is it this time?
The rear quarter panel may have bitten the dust, but by removing the tailgates and sliding doors, the lads are 50% ready for a sales trip.
I'm up to see this punter. He fancies the doors in the boot off the VW. I reckon I'll fancy nicking a few quid and I'll off it.
That punter is Cap Taylor.
I'm the owner of Reesby Garage, and we buy, sell, hire anything to do with the old classic style VW vans. What some people class as scrap, we can repair them and turn them back to the original thing.
Whilst Cap checks out the merchandise, Frankie takes a stroll. And as memories come flooding back, it appears the big fella is for once unable to keep sentiment out of the deal.
People talk to me about it's only old scrap. Only old scrap? I mean, look at it. Does it look like only old scrap? Yeah, hold up. No. No, it ain't. It ain't.
I like your operation down here, Kev, I won't lie. I do like it. I brought those panels down, as you can see. It's just a question of the money, though, isn't it, really? I was thinking like sort of 400 quid.
You're joking.
No, where's the job lot?
No, too expensive.
You know, I've come a long way, and I don't want to go home empty-handed, you know, and I want to get out of this caravan because I've got some bad memories. 200 quid.
No, still too dear. 120 quid.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, split the difference. That's a bit cheaper.
You know, if I said to you 160 quid, you know, how would you feel about that?
Yeah, we'll do a deal.
And you'd part up now?
Yeah.
With the money?
Yeah.
With the cash?
Yeah.
Right, lovely. Can I take that off you then and relieve you of it?
£160 is a healthy return. But Frankie's not quite finished yet.
Have I ever mentioned Lulu?
No.
Oh. No, it's tragic.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
With time short, George and Sheldon desperately need an additional sale. But with only a collection of assorted toot left, things are looking bleak. But Sheldon didn't come third in the 1999 North Stanmore Car Salesman of the Year competition without being able to think outside the box.
Today, I'm off to Cornwall with a bootload of parts. I don't know what he used the bits for, but he's very, very keen to see them and hopefully have a deal with me. So, here we go.
My company's called Hotpod, and for the last 20 years I've been making a living out of making things out of recycled, mainly Volkswagen parts.
So what's this out of? Is this out of
Yeah, this is a Beetle or camper engine.
Oh, what about the camshaft?
That's actually off a Golf, this one. That's as it came out of the engine, so it's the flywheel, crankshaft, conrods.
That's really impressive. So give me an idea, how much would something like this sell for?
The last one I sold was £400.
Now, these stoves, what's the story behind those? What does it do?
Right, it's a multi-fuel stove, so it's for heating. This is an old gas cylinder.
What would that put me back?
These are about £3,000.
For a gas bottle?
Yeah.
Well, let me show you what I brought down for you to keep you being busy. As you can see, I've brought down some crankcases, I've brought down your struts, and you've got some fantastic engine bits. You've got heads, cranks, you've got the barrels in there, you've got camshafts.
I mean, I was thinking there's about 100 quid worth of stuff you'd be bringing.
Do 140.
Right, 140 quid?
Yep. Little bit of dirt, don't worry about that.
That's a very useful 140 quid deal, and proves to be the final sandwich in our mechanical picnic. Time is up for our two teams of strippers as they attempt to max out profits by breaking motors that are all about lifestyle and leisure. Frankie and Ben splashed £950 on a Seen Better Days VW T25.
You can't be serious about sending this in, surely?
Despite early reservations, the chaps have flogged a veritable plethora of parts and are in clear profit. George and Sheldon picked up a putrid Beetle come billboard for £550.
I don't know what you want me to say. It's a Beetle on top of a cabin with no engine in it.
They've managed to shift the few saleable components that they could salvage from this pig of a car. After a tough 3 days, a last-minute sale of a box of bits to bespoke furniture maker Dan means that they're in with a shout. It's time to crush. First to be weighed in is Frankie and Ben's VW Transporter. Anyone with long hair, beads and a surfboard might want to look away now. With ferrous scrap going at £142 per tonne, a weight of 940 kilograms adds a handy £133.50 to profit. Next up, it's Sheldon and George's Beetle. Herbie would escape to freedom now, but this ain't the movies. 420 kilograms adds a further £60 to total profits.
Do you know what? I feel a little bit sorry for you this time round. What is it, Herbie gone down a carsy?
Don't give us that, mate. What's this, another one you ain't took no bits off?
Oh, George, no, we've still got VW people ringing to give £50 for that. We just ran out of time.
All right, listen to Joe, let's see what you've made.
Oh, you'll get plenty of Joe, don't worry about that. Stone cold sober. We parted up with £950 for this monster, right? We, me and him, right, whether he likes it or not. Total sales, £1,581.50, right? Which gives us a profit of £631, hold up, 50. How'd you feel?
Ben and Frankie got a nasty shock when it dawned on them just how little camper you can get for £1,000. But were pleasantly surprised as the punters kept coming. The interior was the biggest seller. But roof, engine and doors were also good earners. A handful of internet sales for smaller items were the icing on the cake. But will it be enough to get Frankie and Ben in the holiday mood?
You know what, boys? I ain't really bothered with what you've made, or whether you've won or not. George and I have taken this glorified window box and more or less created a miracle, really. We paid $550 for this. Total sales $790.
Oh no.
Okay, so we've made a profit of £240.
Well done.
When you buy a car that's been on top of a shipping container, you can't expect much. But Sheldon and George stuck to their guns and exceeded expectations. The key deal was the £550 job lot to beach buggy builder Stewart. But the trip to bespoke furniture maker Dan proved inspired. A couple of internet sales helped cement the profit margin, but the boys were always probably going to come up short. It's Ben and Frankie who've earned their day in the sun.
I knew this would happen. Strapped me right up with it.
Oh, they're having a rock! They're having a rock!
You were the one who went up on the roof to look at it.
I tell you what, I absolutely love VW campers now. They're just the best thing since sliced bread. Definitely, definitely. Not really. But I do like winning.
VW Beetle.
Was there ever any doubt? No, there weren't. I've come out in front, haven't I?
Since the making of this show, all the parts sold have gone on to enjoy a new lease of life in other vehicles. Alex is delighted with his Beetle Chrome. You wouldn't know to look at him, though. Stuart can't wait to get cracking on his new beach buggy, whilst Dan has been busy turning VW Tut into candelabras. Is it me, or does he look like a vicar? And in case you were wondering, Lulu was not a figment of Frankie's imagination.
following is a commercial presentation for the Sonic